impromptu meeting of the Mayor's Council of Guam, where we have assembled. Where's Mayor Johnny?
I just need to turn on his camera.
Okay. We have, well, the president, Daddy Del Mayor Melissa Savares. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. And we also have PD Mayor Jesse Alec. Good morning, Mayor Alec.
Day. Good morning.
Mayor Johnny Kinata of Umatic. Good morning, Mayor.
Day. Good morning.
And Melissa Mayor Ernest Chargaloff. Good morning, Uncle Ernest.
Good morning.
So I know you guys are wondering why we called you here this morning. Now you know why. This is something that we've talked about a lot on the show and just with the different mayors. And it's the divvying up of the funds for the, was it the roadside maintenance, Mayor Ernest? Mayor?
Hello?
Yes. It's the divvying up of the roadside maintenance budget, right? The cutting of the grass and all that.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I know that you had an issue as one of the smaller villages. And go ahead and we'll just give you the floor and just tell us what your issue was, and then we'll take it around to the other mayors.
Yes, Chris, Sabrina.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, do I have the floor?
You have the floor, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Anyways, the funding distribution for the street maintenance, the consistent and historical distribution has always been to address the maintenance, the street maintenance of our village, respective villages. Now, if I sent you and Sabrina a copy of the consistent and historical data on the funding itself. And all through the years from 2007 that I sent you all the way to 2020, fiscal years 2007 to 2020, the consistent and constant competing interest in the funding is that each village were to receive $20,000 every year from 7 to 20, and the remaining balance of the funding is to be divided on a prorated basis based on a percentage of each respective village's road mileage to the total road mileage of Guam by the inventory of the Department of Public Works. Now, the funding itself provides the not equal, but the fairness and the size differential. If you would note your document that you have, it was always provided for the difference between, let's say, Umatic as the smallest village to Dedito. And it's always been accommodated the size differential. That is not the issue here. Is that the FY21 budget, okay, was severely cut by 68%. We experienced the same cut back in 2011 of 54.55%. During that time period, the $380,000 that each village were getting, 20,000 times 19 is 380. When 2011 came about, it gave the higher percentage of the distribution because of the 380 being locked in already. It doesn't move until it goes down below the 380,000, which would zero out the language of the law to distribute the remaining, because there's nothing remaining at 380. You're going to get 20,000 each. Now that the funding went down severely to 281,000, then that's where you need to establish a precedent of how much money within that 281, because you zero out the pro rata, which is based on the percentage. So at 380, 100% of the funding would go to the village mayors, which is 20,000 each. So when at 280, the precedent was established already in 2011. when the funding was down at 470,000. Okay, the percentage of the distribution is 80.69 for the 380 and 19.31 for the road mileage on the prorata. This year, it should mirror the same distribution as 2011, but 2011 was only at 80.69. There's a difference between 54.55% and 68 of about 6.75%. So as the funding goes down, the percentage that will go to the mayor continues to climb. When you come to 380, it zeroes out the language that the remainder is to be prorated because there's no money to prorate. You're gonna have 20,000. Now this year it says the provision that each mayor may receive up to $20,000. Well, with the vote that was taken, instead of allowing the smaller villages to try to reach up to 20, we were going down because we were the numbers were erroneously applied. If you guys saw the documents I sent you, if you look at the numbers, the 186 that was put over to the road managers, the prorata, should have flipped and go to the other side, and that would be divided by 19, the 186,000. Yet they put it on the other side for the prorata. On the prorata, the more you give money to the prorata, the more they do gets the money because they don't jiggle. But they should mirror the percentage, and the distribution should have mirrored what was done in 2011. In 2011, they do only receive 39,000 of the 470. Why is it that when in 2021, when the funding went down to 281, they is going to receive 44,000 when the funding was higher? They received 39. So it doesn't make sense if you, Christian Serena, if you go across what was voted and you take my option A and the distribution of 2011, you see that option A and the 2011 budget mirror almost the same significant differential. When you take the one that was previously voted, the provision said each mayor's office may receive up to 20. It didn't say up to $44,000, which Dedido and Gigo received 42. Option A mirrors what was done in 2011, which is a precedent, and already the funding itself provides for the size differential. If you look at option A, you might not only receive $219.50 for the road mileage percentage. Well, Dedido, on the other hand, received 7,800, Gigo 7,400. So already the size differential is being accommodated. That was done also in 2011 as well. If you look at 2011, okay, Dedido received 19,000. Well, Yamanak only received 500.
Wow.
If you look at the historical in 2007, okay, when the funding was at 1.5 million, Dedido received 240,000 in road managers, okay, and Umadak, which is the smallest, received only 6,000. So the size differential has always been addressed. It's always been addressed historically and consistently. This year, that would have been fine if they put the 186,000 to the other side and then the 95,000 to be prorated because it addressed the historical significance and the precedent. Otherwise, you could put 200,000 or 240,000 to the road mileage and leave the remainder is going to flip.
Right. Uncle Ernest,
the language didn't allow that.
Uncle Ernest, before we go over to Mayor Savars, I wanted to switch it over to Mayor Alec because you threw a lot of numbers at us, and just I don't never do numbers this early in the morning. Mayor Alec, can you kind of dumb it down for us a little bit?
Well, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning to Mayor.
'Cause
Mayor Ernest has always been that way ever
I
since I've
know.
known him.
Right, right,
That's
yeah. Very thorough.
for some of us, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And you know what, within this whole ordeal, I think, I don't think there was any ill intent of anyone in the council or our executive director at all. I think Mayor Ernest does have a good point, and that was the reason why I voted for his proposal, because his formula does follow historical data somewhat, and it does set a precedent when moving forward in other fiscal years, should we have a budget similar to what we have this fiscal year. What I think what I think is what I think is fair. We're all experiencing difficult situations this year, and so we all have to share that burden. I cannot imagine how Dededo and Jigo are going to continue to function. In PD, if we went with the previous approved budget, we would have received $9,000, and our gas alone averages $7,000.
Wow.
So, it doesn't, even for the small village of PT, it just isn't fair. So it's not going to really be fair for any one of us. But I think the Mayor Ernest's proposal does provide justification and a fair allotment to the villages. And that's my take on Mayor Ernest's numbers.
Mayor Savares?
I of course I voted against it. Mayor Alec has explained how his fuel for the year was 7,000. My fuel for the year, because we have a much larger area, and our population versus Molesto's population is 1,800 and probably growing, if not decreasing. My population is 45,000 and growing. The road mileage, it's not just for fuels for our vehicles, but also the bush cutting. We still need to cut grass, even if we have a few maintenance. That's something that's still a priority. I'm reading the front page of the PDN where it talks about seniors, the mayor's delivering meals to the senior citizens. These meals need to be, we have 2 senior citizen centers versus PD that doesn't have any. Molesto has 1 with maybe 10 participants. I have over 400 participants in my senior centers that get meals daily. These meals need to be delivered by 1:30 in the afternoon. It's not going to work if they're going to just take 1 bus for each center and get those things delivered. So we have to take vehicles out, which, doesn't get just run on fumes. It runs on fuel. And so, of course, at that meeting, Mayor Chartliff had said, well, you as a president should be voting and look at the interest of everybody. I understand. But you know what? If I have to compare apples and oranges, you have 1,800 residents that you need to take care of. I have 45,000. What is the disparity? We're getting 20,000 in street maintenance operations. When we had the first formula that we voted for in October, that Mayor Ernest missed that meeting. If he comes to the meetings regularly, he would know what's going on. But he missed the meeting. I can't say what reason, but at that meeting, I would have gotten 44,000. And then it was, of course, Mayor Matanani, he's not running. He's not going to be the next mayor. So he wasn't concerned about what they were going to get in Jiho. So of course, I went from 44,000, which we voted for in October, to 20,000. Last fiscal year, we spent 53,000 in fuel. So I brought my fleet down to 2 vehicles only running. Anybody that needs to go anywhere other than operations, you pay for your own fuel. I'm not driving a government vehicle. And so of course, I'm not part of the fleet, using a fleet card to get fuel, because I want to focus on what we really need to do in the community. So The disparity, I'm sorry that your residents moved to my village for better opportunities. You know, I'm going to fight for my people. And so, of course, I've done a lot of reduction in my community already since the beginning of the fiscal year, and more so since we went down to 20,000. I don't know. I told my staff, I said, well, let's do an allotment schedule and maybe have at least $12,000 for fuel. But we've always been accountable. We've always watched our spending, but more so, I'm calling seniors, residents to say, I'm sorry, you guys need to start taking care of yourself in this area. Businesses, I'm approaching businesses, they need to start taking care of the frontage of their areas because the government's not going to do it for them.
Mayor Ernest, sounds like shots were fired there. Why didn't you show up to the meeting?
Do I have the floor?
Yes, you have the floor, Mayor.
Okay, Jason, Sabrina, yes, I acknowledge that she has to fight for people. This is not distribution by population. This is distribution by street and road mileage. Like I said, the funding already allocates for the differential. The mayor compares apples to oranges. That's exactly what you're doing, okay? Because we're not dividing it by population, because if that's the case, then every time I get 2,000, let's say round it off to 2,000, you're supposed to get 45,000, okay? Because, and then when you give me 4, you get 90. The funding you talked about last year, 50,000. Well, they need to receive 107,000 for road mileage alone, and a total 127. So you still got $77,000. So, you guys in 2011, where was this concern? And I understand that the mayor of Dedido, was opposed to the distribution that was previously voted. Now she's opposed to it being changed. I don't understand, because you know what? If you make a vote, you vote on what is right, okay? And that is why I'm saying that the president and vice president, if you're going to argue, at least have a basis and a foundation for your argument. The record, the historical data of the funding itself provides that precedent. That if when the funding goes low, then it comes down from high above and joins us lower ranks. And that is evident in the distribution of 2011. When she went, if you look at the historical data and distribution, in 2007, she received 240,000 just on road mileage alone, in addition with the 20,000 each village mayor gets. Then it got $260,000. Okay. Then in 2008, when the funding went down by 400,000, and it was not a very significant. She went from went from 240 in the road mileage down to 154. Now this is historical data, guys. You cannot ignore it. Okay, it went from 154 with the $20,000 that each village gets. Okay, she went from 154 up to 174. So you always add the 20,000 above that. And then in 2007, 8, 9, and 10, okay, Dedido received under just the road mileage alone is 140. I'm only looking at Dedido. Then you go down and look at Humanac, the smallest. While she was getting 240, Humanac was getting 6,700. So where's the gripe there? It's being already accommodated, the size differential. We're not distributing funding by people. I can never be equal to Dedido unless Malaysia grows in land size or by population. But the differential has always been addressed historically. And she didn't have a problem. Dedido didn't have a problem. She was the mayor then in 2011. She didn't have a problem when she was brought down from high above down to 39,000 to be almost not equal, but a little more than the ones right below them. But Dedido and Jigo will always enjoy the highest percentage when it comes to when the funding is higher. So that has always been historically from 2007 to 2020. You guys have been enjoying the bigger villages, especially Dedido and Jigo, has been enjoying the most of the funding. That's why I made the equation that if the pie is big, you can have what you want. But when it's small, come down and share it, okay? And that was done already in 2011. That was the precedent. Okay, when you're so used to being above the 100,000, and then you come down. Where was the argument then in 2011? Why is it that they didn't receive 39,000 when the funding was at 470,921 dollars? Yet when the funding went down significantly to $281,417, she went from the funding went down, she went up. So it doesn't make sense that when you go down, you have to go down as well, because percentages and numbers don't lie.
Right. Mayor,
You're supposed to.
Mayor Ernest, we're gonna go over to Mayor Johnny because I made him get up early and he's not talking. So, Mayor Johnny, they talk about the pie is small. Is Humatic getting enough pie to eat?
Good morning, Jason, and I'm so Jason. Good morning. Now I'm hearing all this because Mayor Ernest came to my office and was telling me. And first, I want to thank. Good morning, Jesse and Mayor Melissa. You know, I try to make. I don't want to make enemies with the mayors. I enjoy every mayor that I spoke to. We enjoy, but when Mayor Ernest came to my office and was telling me. The first thing I voted for that because I was wondering how come my gas went down that low, and we do a lot of grass cutting here in Umatic, from Agate to Umatic. We have our parks that are not cut. Veterans Day, the parks weren't cut. We have to cut it because I called the director up. Nobody came to cut it, and it was Veterans Day, so we cut our memorial park to make it nice for the veterans. And we've been using a lot of fuel cutting from Agate, the cemetery, the church. We're doing everything. And I was so disappointed about the gas. And then when Ernest came to my office and was talking to me about it, you know, I'm not really good with numbers. And I told Ern that I wasn't good with numbers. And I thank Jesse Alec for that when we voted for that and we went up to 5,000. I was a little bit happy, but not too happy about it. And Mayor Ernest came in to my office, told my AA, can I speak to the mayor? And then he was showing me all the paperwork about the fuel system. And this one, the mayor did it. I understand that she has a lot of, the population is bigger than Umatic. I understand that. The thing is, we all love our people. You support your people. We support our people too. But like Mayor Ernest was saying that about the gas fuel, you know, we do a lot of things down here too. I mean, it's not about the population. It's about the things that we do down here in our village. We use a lot of fuel down here, just cleaning everything, you know, try to make, I call public works, I call, you know, for help and everything. But this pandemic is the one that's slowing everything down right now. So we're doing all the cutting. We have the poles that are tangan trees are growing. We're gonna have to trim that ourselves because you know, I've been calling for that side mower to cut. I haven't heard anything. They said yes, they're gonna support me. I haven't heard anything, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it with my maintenance. We're gonna keep doing our job. Inauguration not even up yet, and we're doing all the work we can do before Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I just want to thank Ernest and Jesse Alec for supporting, you know, this fuel thing that Ernest was working on. I saw what's happening is we're just because we're a small village, it doesn't mean that you know, you're gonna put us at the side. You know, there's some people here in Yamada that are offering gas now to my village. You know, I was telling them that I didn't even use my truck only when I go downtown to do shopping for my equipment. I park my truck at the office now. Every day the truck is parked here. Mayor Ernest sees it. Every time he passes by, it's just parked in the mayor's office because I'm trying to save fuel for the grass cutting, doing everything down here. So,
Instead of fighting amongst each other, you guys maybe tried to go to your oversight chair, who's also a former mayor, to try and get some help with funding so that you guys are adequately funded, not just for gassing your vehicles and doing your roadside maintenance, but just overall, because the way I understood it to be set up is that all mayors at the end of the day get the same amount of money to run your villages, and that was something that Mayor Rudy Matanani had mentioned months ago during one of the last meetings that the oversight chair attended.
Mayor Alec.
Well, I think in the end, for most of the funds that we have, we do share we share the pot. It's just in the street maintenance budget fund that, actually is prorated. And so I think like I said in the beginning, we're all going to experience a cut. It's difficult for everyone. But I think that the revised or the newly approved budget for the streets maintenance budget is a little more equitable for most of us. Of course, the majority will have more, and the larger villages will, of course, see a decrease. But then again, that's where your creativity comes in, and you try and figure out how to make things work on your end. For the larger villages, and I'm not trying to say what they should do, but I believe that with the larger villages, you'll probably have more to reach out to for help. And some of us smaller villages, we have our mainstays, those community partners that continue to help us. So for the most part, we do share most of the budget equally. It's just this one fund that's prorated based on street mileage.
We're kind of running up against some time constraints here. Mayor Savaras, so we want to give you the last word, and I would really like to continue this discussion, and maybe we could fold in more mayors. But go ahead, Mayor Savaras. Are you? It kind of seems like, from what these mayors are saying, they feel like the little villages are being picked on. How would you respond to that?
Well, Chris and Sabrina, there are only 4 really large villages that are over 10,000 in population, actually over 15,000 in population. And yes, they said the numbers don't matter. It doesn't matter what your numbers in population are. But you know what? When we have a high number, that means that they're living in other subdivisions that are not, actually some subdivisions are not part of the local mileage. The last time that the DPW did an inventory of the local mileage streets, that was in 2009. So we're 11 years behind. That cost $300,000 to get a contractor to do a better number. Tamuning continues to say that she has 3 housing developments that went up since that local mileage inventory was done, and those streets are not included. I have 4 housing developments that have gone up and they're not included. So where there's people, that means there's more roads. And as a matter of fact, the larger villages continue to do what we need to do. We're very resourceful. We have business partners. We apply for grants. So we're resourceful in our communities as well. We go out and meet with our businesses and our neighborhoods to ask them, to increase their property value, take care of this area. And it's, about everybody working together. So, we'll do what we can with 20,000 in our street maintenance operations. We use that fund for, say, maybe drug testing for new employees, and this is the time. But I think if you're a new employee, you're going to have to pay for your own drug test, and so we'll be creative with those type of things. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Ernest, Mayor Johnny, Mayor Jesse. Thank you guys so much. I don't think this conversation's over. I think it's just beginning, especially when you consider what next year is going to be like. Right? So be safe, guys. Wash your hands. Stay home, and please keep an eye out for Thanksgiving. And don't be scared to teal people's ears out there.
That's for sure. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving to everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
Mayor Ernest.
Thanksgiving.
Mayor Johnny, be safe down there.
That's Uncle
thank
Ernest
you.
from Des Moines.
Okay, thank you,
Thanksgiving.
Uncle Ernest. All right. Thank you, Jesse, Mayor Jesse. All right. Thank you. Wow.